Biggest turning points in Dragon Ball history. In 2024, Dragon Ball will be 40 years old, and that means that a ton of stuff has happened. Goku's tale started slightly mundane with little bits of fantasy elements, but then it started to grow until it became a universal adventure, quite literally. Taking all of this into account, which ones have been the biggest turning points in Dragon Ball history? Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z is definitely the saga where things started to go, let's say, a little wild. The following moments changed the lives of Dragon Ball fans forever. Goku's big first death. Yes, Goku died right at the beginning of Dragon Ball Z. At a time where Piccolo wasn't even a fully fledged ally, both Namekian and Earthling had to join forces to beat a powerful alien called Raditz, who turned out to be Goku's brother. A gruesome death at the hands of Piccolo, the revelation of his unsettling background as a Saiyan, and the promise that even stronger warriors would be coming to Earth to finish what Raditz couldn't. Boy oh boy was it intense. Vegeta's first appearance. Coming back from the dead is no small task, and it certainly took Goku quite a bit of time, although he managed to power up a ton back then. The worst part of this was that in his absence, two other Saiyans, Nappa and Vegeta, came to Earth and started to wreak havoc. Indeed, that was the very first time that Vegeta showed up in the Dragon Ball series. He was evil, cold, and not interested in anything but showing his power and pride as a Saiyan super elite. Who would have thought that a dude that Toriyama didn't even like at the beginning would go on to be a character almost as important as Goku? The Super Saiyan awakens. A lot of things happened on Namek. Dragon Ball even managed to establish the record for the longest anime fight with Goku and Frieza's clash. But what really stood out the most was the awakening of the Super Saiyan. Yes, that very form that Frieza feared so much and what drove him to almost exterminate all the Saiyans and enslave those remaining few became real precisely because of his own actions. Goku awakened a golden aura after Krillin's death that pushed his boundaries as a warrior to new heights, and from then onwards he never looked back. Trunks and the Time Travel Machine. As surprising as it may be to some, time travel is actually a key part in Dragon Ball's narrative. I mean, without Trunks' interference, the story would have progressed to that tragic future that he and Gohan so magnificently portrayed in the TV special. But wait, who is Trunks? Precisely, a young warrior with a sword, son of Vegeta and Bulma, although we didn't know it back then, suddenly showed up one day with very good timing as he intercepted Mecha Frieza and his father as they came to Earth to conquer it. The result of all this? Trunks showed both that Goku wasn't the only one who could unlock the Super Saiyan transformation and that the future could be changed forever. Gohan shows that his potential is the biggest amongst all warriors. Fast forward a little bit through the Android saga and we reach the Cell Games, which isn't a science convention but instead a tournament held by your very own bio-android made up of different cells from Saiyans, Namekians, and other races. It was supposed to be the ultimate warrior until Gohan happened. Goku's son showed that his father's trust in him was no bluff as he was the very first character to achieve the Super Saiyan 2 transformation. Even if at times he was kind of arrogant, which had its consequences in the match, he managed to completely obliterate Cell with the iconic father-son Kamehameha, a moment forever engraved in the memory of Dragon Ball fans. Majin Vegeta, the Golden Sacrifice. After the Cell saga, Goku remained dead for a long time in order to keep bad guys from coming to Earth, and for several years it worked. Absolutely nothing happened, until it did. Babidi and Buu posed the threat like no other, and Gohan skipped a ton of training so he wasn't actually at his best. What else could go wrong? Well, what if Vegeta turned evil again? And that's exactly what happened, but did it really? Throughout the years, Vegeta became obsessed with surpassing Goku, and so he saw Babidi's magic as an opportunity to acquire a new power-up. That's when Majin Vegeta was born, but even if his speech and actions were that of pure evil, Vegeta's heart had already changed forever. He tricked everyone, from Goku to his own son Trunks, in order to get a shot at redeeming himself while sacrificing himself to destroy Buu. He failed at killing the Pink Evil Menace, but he certainly left a moment for the ages. The Super Saiyan 3, a crazy powerful and draining state. Indeed, the Super Saiyan 2 state was not the limit of the Super Saiyan power. Out of nowhere, Goku improvised this new transformation whose biggest physical traits were the absence of eyebrows and impossibly long hair. Also, yes, it meant a great power-up for Goku, but at the same time the ki drainage was massive, so in a way its viability was higher than maybe a Kaioken, but not as much as your standard Super Saiyan. It was an incredibly cool moment, but in the end it wasn't enough to beat Buu and Goku had to resort to a Spirit Bomb. Fusions are actually a thing. It didn't happen right until the end of Dragon Ball Z, but man were fusions something we all love. It all started with Goten, the son that not even Goku knew he had, and Trunks, the one from our timeline, not the time-traveling adventurer. Piccolo once again took on that fatherly figure he so much loves and trained both of them until they managed to perfectly fuse, thus giving birth to Gotenks. This guy had it all, power, charisma, and even his own Super Saiyan 3, but he ran out of time. Then a second fusion came to be, the amazing Vegito. He was as powerful as he was cool and completely humiliated Buu when the villain looked to be unbeatable. But as amazing as he didn't beat Buu. Still, both fusions certainly took the hype of Dragon Ball to new heights. Dragon Ball GT. Okay, Dragon Ball GT might not be canon, but still, the saga had some, although not many moments that were pure hype and that changed things forever. Mostly, it's important to remember the following. The birth of the Super Saiyan 4. At the end of Dragon Ball Z, Super Saiyan 3 was supposed to be the highest state achievable by a Super Saiyan, but Dragon Ball GT changed all of that. Goku, having been reshaped into a child by the power of the Dragon Balls, saw some limitations to his power, and so Super Saiyan 3 was no match against an enemy like Baby. That is, until Super Saiyan 4 was born. This transformation in particular was especially emotional as it saw Goku completely absorb all of the essence of the Saiyan race. The power up he got from the transformation was immense, and the design of the form was one of the best the series has ever seen. Gogeta Super Saiyan 4, the most powerful trickster. Dragon Ball Z introduced Vegito, and so Dragon Ball GT wanted to introduce Gogeta. Yes, the fusion had already taken the main role in a Dragon Ball Z movie, but this was a first for it in the episodic series, even if, again, it wasn't canon. Nevertheless, after Goku and Vegeta's dance, Omega Shenron could do nothing but take all the hits and jokes that Gogeta Super Saiyan 4 could come up with, until they ran out of time. Like father, like son, I guess. Still, even being non-canon, both Gogeta Super Saiyan 4 as well as the Super Saiyan 4 transformation in general remain fan favorites till this day. Dragon Ball Super. As weird as it may seem, the next canon series we actually saw from Dragon Ball was Dragon Ball Super, which is located within the time frame that covers the end of the Buu saga up until the end of Z. Yes, we're slowly filling up that time gap, and there have been some amazing discoveries up until now, such as the Super Saiyan God, Angels, and the Gods of Destruction. The beginning of Dragon Ball Super was like a bombshell of lore that completely changed the perception of the Dragon Ball universe. Up until now, most conflicts had developed within the vicinity of Earth, but with the menace of Beerus, the God of Destruction, as well as his Angel Whis, Dragon Ball Super changed forever the possibilities of Akira Toriyama and now Toyotaro's world. Several universes with several gods and angels, powerful warriors from all kinds, and the introduction of the Super Saiyan God. This new state of power was achievable thanks to the introduction of Divine Ki, a new type of godly energy far superior to the standard Ki. The Dragon Ball world was about to jump into a new era, and both Goku and Vegeta were the ones in charge of making it happen. Super Saiyan Blue, the Super Saiyan of Gods. In Dragon Ball Super, both the anime and manga started to differ in a lot of stuff, and one of the biggest differences was the treatment of transformations. Where the manga used Super Saiyan God for both Goku and Vegeta, given that the Super Saiyan Blue was pretty draining, the anime went all in with the bluish variation. But what is Super Saiyan Blue? As Goku explained it, it's basically the Super Saiyan form of a Saiyan who has achieved the Super Saiyan God form. Frieza, who by the way had achieved his own new special form called Golden Frieza, was the first big enemy to really test the limits of this newfound power. Goku Black and Super Saiyan Rose. What if there was an evil Goku? And no, not a sort of doppelganger like Turles, but an actual evil Goku. That's precisely what happened in the Future Trunks saga, as it saw the son of Vegeta going back in time once again after a candidate for the Kai position decided to take Goku's body and use all of the power of the Saiyan race to eliminate all mortals. Goku Black was simply an incredible concept, and his special transformation, Super Saiyan Rose, was a display of power like no fan would have ever imagined. Definitely one of the most impactful enemies that the series had ever seen. Ultra Instinct, Goku's ascendance to divinity. The Tournament of Power was a battle concept that the Dragon Ball series had never seen before. A tournament that brought together the strongest warriors of many different universes and allowed for the introduction of characters such as Jiren, Kefla, or Hit, although the last one we had already seen in the Tournament of Destroyers. What then could be more important than such an event? Well, Goku developing Ultra Instinct for one. This godly technique is one that even godly beings have to work on in order to be able to use it, and yet Goku managed to awaken it randomly. The Ultra Instinct allowed Goku to fight in a fashion that we had never seen before, and to this day he still works to completely master it. It is indeed a transformation as relevant as Super Saiyan was back in the day. Broly and Gogeta canon at last. Although it was never portrayed as an episodic anime, after the Tournament of Power, the movie Dragon Ball Super Broly was released, and it brought with it the canonization of both Broly and Gogeta. These two characters were fan favorites for a long time, and yet they had never really shown up in the canon of Dragon Ball, neither in the manga nor the anime. The situation changed completely after the movie actually pitted one against the other, displaying a battle with the highest production values to date in the Dragon Ball franchise. Even if both characters were redesigned for this new era, this was still something that a ton of fans had been waiting for many years. Goku Susanoo. This is still a mystery that Dragon Ball Super is yet to shed light on, but during the Moro saga we saw Goku finally being able to use Master Ultra Instinct at will, but something even more amazing happened. One of the many new techniques that Master Ultra Instinct brought with it was some kind of Susanoo, a gigantic ghost-like projection of Goku that showed up again in the Granola art. We're still looking for answers on what this is and if Goku will be able to master it one day. Ultra Ego, Vegeta's ascendance to divinity. Throughout the Dragon Ball Super series, Vegeta had managed to unlock several power-ups and techniques that allowed him to take Super Saiyan Blue a step beyond, possibly further than Goku had ever been able to. However, in reality he was kind of stuck. Goku had managed to achieve Ultra Instinct, a technique used by angels, and yet Vegeta had no real power-up of his own. That is, until Lord Beerus decided to help him. It was by training with the God of Destruction that Vegeta unlocked the Ultra Ego form, a new godly transformation that transformed all incoming damage into more raw power. This form took Vegeta back to his destructive roots as a Saiyan warrior, and even if it's still fairly new, it looks to have a ton of potential. Black Frieza, a new doom is born. At the tail end of the Granola arc, someone decided to finish it by their own hand. Indeed, Frieza was back, and not only did he take out with one hit an enemy that both Goku and Vegeta were severely struggling against in their newest forms, but he also knocked both Saiyans out again with a single hit. How did he do it? With his new transformation, of course. Black Frieza, the new power-up that he had trained 10 years to get. His intervention was brief yet impressively impactful, and it left the state of the universe under a serious menace for which Goku and Vegeta seemed to have no answer. Gohan and Piccolo are relevant yet again. Right after the beginning of Dragon Ball Super, both Gohan and Piccolo took a gigantic step back in order to allow Goku and Vegeta to completely shine by themselves. Even if they were part of the Tournament of Power in the Moro Saga, they actually were but a shadow of their past selves from Dragon Ball Z. However, they once again reclaimed the spotlight in Dragon Ball Super Superhero, the most recent movie from the franchise, and one that gave both of them a new transformation, Beast for Gohan and Orange for Piccolo. These two characters are now a force to be reckoned with and will most likely have to use their newfound powers in some major conflicts yet to come. That's all for this video. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and comment, and don't forget to subscribe so you can see all the future videos from Dragon Ball Hype. Until next time, this is Alex. Peace.